This is Good Morning Texas.
Well, good morning. I'm Joey Horta. Thanks for waking up with us.
And I'm Sharday LeRae. I like to say TGIM.
Yeah?
Thank God it's Monday. I know, but at least we're here starting another week.
You know, trying to look at it glass half full kind of thing.
Yeah.
And as far as the weather's concerned, a little warm out there.
It is a little warm. I'm not complaining about it though.
Yeah, a little warm, a little muggy, guys, but thankfully no thunderstorms are going to impact that morning commute. You can just see how muggy it is. Look, it almost looks foggy out there right now on the Clark Roofing Cam 25 News Studios. We have temperatures that are sitting in the upper 60s, lower 70s, and we were tracking a couple of showers out there over towards Bosque County. Those have recently fallen apart. They were producing some lightning. You may have heard some thunder here in the last hour, but now things are dry, and I don't anticipate many issues to your morning commute. We may have to watch the afternoon for a couple of thunderstorms. It's also going to be warm. It's going to be muggy. Temperatures in the upper 80s, feeling like the triple digits later on this afternoon. And we'll have to watch for a couple of evening thunderstorms. If you don't get rain today, more storm chances are on the way here over the next few. I'll walk you through the 10-day forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
Now to the latest developments from that mass shooting out in North Texas. Absolute terror erupting at an outlet mall over the weekend there. A gunman opened fire, killing 8 people. The community of Allen, just north of Dallas, coming together to remember the lives lost. And investigators are trying to determine a motive.
And right now, they believe the suspect, Mauricio Garcia, may have held white supremacist beliefs. Lindsay Watts has the latest.
We got shots fired at the outlaw.
Video shows the gunman jumping out of a car Saturday with an AR-15 style rifle. He then opens fire on people at an outdoor shopping center in Allen, Texas, just north of Dallas.
I hid behind a freezer and everybody thought that we were doomed.
At least 8 people were killed, including a 5-year-old boy.
To see these first responders act, visibly shaken and crying and sick and trying to catch their breath and trying to understand what was going on, that will always be in my mind.
A vigil was held Sunday for the victims who lost their lives and for those still fighting to overcome injuries. Overnight, officials said 7 people are still hospitalized, including 3 in critical condition. The shooter was killed after an officer on a different call ran toward the gunfire. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News the gunman was wearing a patch associated with white supremacists. They say the FBI is looking at his writings and clothing for other links to extremist ideology. Authorities say in 2008, the suspect was discharged from the Army for mental health concerns. Police have searched his home in Dallas.
We believe at this point that the shooter acted alone.
This is the 199th mass shooting in the country so far this year. President Biden says it's too shocking to be so familiar, again calling on Congress to ban assault weapons. Gun reform advocates plan to rally today at the Texas Capitol in Austin. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
The FBI says it's asking anyone with information or video related to the shooting to contact the agency. Now, in a statement, the Bureau says it's working with Texas DPS along with other state and federal agencies on this investigation.
Governor Greg Abbott says he wants to meet with the community there to help the victims' families heal.
Our main priority right now is to help and support those families and the Allen community. But I got to tell you that there are questions that are lingering that the families want answers to. And that is, why did this happen? Why did the gunman do this? How did this happen? And I know that those families need an answer as quickly as possible.
President Joe Biden responding also with a proclamation honoring the victims. He's ordering all flags to be lowered to half staff until Thursday.
We also have breaking news that we've been following overnight out of Dallas, where a gunman is on the loose after a shooting at a light rail station. Now, we have learned that 1 person is dead. And according to police, 2 people suffered injuries as well. Now, 1 was treated at the scene, the other taken to the hospital. The victim's identity has not been released, but police say the shooting happened after a fight broke out. No details have been released about the suspect. And 8 people are dead this morning after police say a driver plowed through a crowd outside a homeless shelter in Brownsville. Brownsville PD saying the man was driving reckless when he drove through the crowd. At least 9 other people are injured, and officials believe many of the victims are migrants.
The Oznan Center is a homeless shelter, and right now they have a lot of immigrants from the current influx that we're having, that they're putting them there to have shelter for overnight, waiting for their final destination, so they will go on the bus or on the plane. That's usually where a lot of them have been staying.
Border Patrol agents are now helping with this investigation, and police say witnesses detained the driver until officers arrived on scene. He's now facing a number of charges. Well, the votes are in for the May 6th general election. On the ballot in Harker Heights was a topic of an ongoing debate, Proposition A.
This measure decriminalizes small amounts of marijuana. 25 News reporter Nakia Simon live in the newsroom with the outcome. Good morning, Nakia.
Good morning, Joey and Sade. The decision was made by one single vote. It was determined by one single vote. The residents of Harker Heights voting against repealing Proposition A. The city's unofficial total saying that 1,135 people voted no to repealing Proposition A, while 1,134 people voted yes. According to city officials, a vote of no means supporting repealing the repeal of Chapter 133 marijuana enforcement and tossing it back to the city's books. The founder of Texas Veterans for Medical Marijuana giving his take on this.
Based on everything the Harker Heights City Council has done in the past, they will simply ignore the will of the voters in Harker Heights, which I think is deplorable, an awful thing to just ignore the will of the voters.
The city of Harker Heights stance on Proposition A remains the same. In a statement, they refer to the Texas Local Government Code, which said city government officials may not adopt a policy under which the entity will not fully enforce laws relating to drugs. They continue by saying for those with interest in changing the laws relating to marijuana, the Texas legislature is the appropriate and only forum to see those changes. The final votes for this decision will not come out until May 16th when it is certified. Reporting, Nakia Simon, 25 News.
All righty, thank you, Nakia. Well, testimony continues this morning in the Cedric Marks murder trial. Who jurors are expected to hear from today, and what piece of evidence is not being admitted?
And later, the tug-of-war between farmers and solar companies in Central Texas. What's bringing both sides to the table this week?
And a warm and muggy start to your day out there. We're expecting a warm one today, and more storm chances are on the way. I'll walk you through it all in the 10-day forecast coming up.
Welcome back, 6:10, kicking off a new week here. So let's get a look at what we need to, dress like with this weather.
Because I didn't pay attention at all. So, yes, it's too late for us, but for people walking out the door, about to walk out the door.
Yeah, short sleeves are going to be the name of the game today. Just have a jacket, have an umbrella nearby. It's not going to be a washout like your phone's saying this morning, but we will have the potential for a couple of showers, maybe some thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Nothing like that out there on the morning commute right now, but you are dealing with some fog. You see the humidity out there currently. Clark Roofing Cam South Waco giving you that view where temperatures are in the upper 60s. We did have a couple of thunderstorms here over the last couple of hours back up to the north of Meridian. Those have fallen apart, but the energy with them may be hanging around here as we go through the day, and that could lead to the potential for a couple of thunderstorms. So while we'll be quiet for the first part of the day, we'll get back into the mid-80s by noon, upper 80s this afternoon, and with the humidity could feel like the triple digits, so get ready for a warm one. We are watching for that potential for evening thunderstorms, though the severe weather threat will stay well to our west. You can see on Future Track how we go through the day that things stay quiet. We may have a spot shower. I'm monitoring the chance for thunderstorms to pop up out west. If they happen to pop up out west, there is a chance they roll into some of our western counties. I don't think it's going to be an issue severe weather-wise, but we could have some evening thunderstorms roll through, especially along and west of I-35. I think our better storm chances will actually come up as a little wave of energy comes in Tuesday into Wednesday, and as that happens, and models have been pretty consistent with this, we'll get the potential for a couple of showers, some downpours, maybe even some thunderstorms, though that severe weather threat should be low. And we'll actually add on rain chances even after that as well. Looks like we're going to have some pretty decent rain chances here over the next 10 days that could add up to 4 to 5 inches in some spots. This will really help with our drought situation, but it also means that you're going to have some issues with some of your plans here going through the week. Temperatures hanging around the mid 80s, so the warm, muggy conditions holding on as well.
All righty, thank you, Josh. Well, today marks day 16 in the capital murder trial of Cedric Marks. The former MMA fighter is accused of killing his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, and her friend. Now, on Friday, jurors heard from fingerprint and forensic experts. They also detailed how the process, the fingerprint and DNA evidence. The judge also ruling a report from DPS that was finalized and filed on Friday would not be admitted into the evidence. Testimony will continue at 9 this morning.
This morning, one person is dead after a crash involving a big rig on I-35. Police say it happened just before 4 a.m. Sunday. The truck hit someone walking across the interstate. Officers had to shut it down for several hours. The victim's name has not been released.
In breaking news, right now we're following out of San Antonio. You probably just got it on your phone, but an Amber Alert. Police are looking for 14-year-old Jules Robinson. He is 5'6" tall and weigh around 130 pounds. Now, he has black hair and brown eyes, as you can see in that photo. Now, he was last seen around midnight a week ago on Classen Pass in San Antonio. Robinson was wearing a hat, glasses, a dark colored t-shirt, black shorts, and sandals. If you know where he is, please call San Antonio PD.
And just ahead, Donald Trump turning down his chance to testify in a civil trial.
We have the latest on the rape allegations and what's next for the former president as the case plays out in court. It's now 6:15 and you're watching Good Morning Texas.
I washed my car this weekend. Got about a month worth of rain off of it, so we could pile some more on today.
See, I don't wash my car because I'm always so nervous that it's going to rain. So I just let the rain wash my car, but I do need to do a good clean. I wait till like the summer when I know it's going to be hot and dry.
I just feel bad about all those layers of it, Josh, that are on there.
Yeah,
in a way.
No kidding. If you were going to pick a day here in the next week or so, it's probably going to be today that you watch it. That's the lowest rain chance I have for the next 7 days. Rain chances are going to start ticking up after today. Out there right now, no issues on the Clark Roofing Cam in Killeen. We're heading towards the upper 80s, lower 90s out over western parts of central Texas, upper 80s for most of the I-35 corridor. Notice the 20 to 30% chances of rain hanging around. Well, I don't think today is a washout. We could have some thunderstorms in the evening, especially west of I-35. And we'll see temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, even into the Brazos Valley as well. I'm tracking more rain chances, including the potential for multiple inches of rain here as we go through the week. I'll walk you through it all on that 10-day coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, Josh, we'll see you soon. It is 6:19 and now to today's top stories.
8 people are dead and 10 others hurt after an SUV plows through a group of people in Brownsville. Now, the victims were waiting at a bus stop outside of a homeless shelter when police say the driver ran a red light and crashed into the crowd. He's in the hospital right now, but police say they'll arrest him when he's released.
Texas bracing for the end of Title 42. The pandemic-era border policy ends Thursday. Migrant crossings are expected to skyrocket. Despite pushback from lawmakers, the Biden administration says it's ready for the influx.
In closing arguments expected today in former President Donald Trump's rape trial. He rejected his chance to testify Sunday. Now, writer E. Jean Carroll says Trump raped her back in the 90s and that he defamed her by denying it happened. She's suing him for unspecified damages.
There's a battle for land now between farmers and solar companies unfolding here in Central Texas. An important vote happening tomorrow in Hill County. County commissioners will decide whether to rezone hundreds of acres for the Ash Creek Solar Project. If approved, the project could bring renewable energy to 90,000 homes. But many farmers say that would ruin precious farmland.
Not against solar energy, but it has its place to take up hundreds of acres of very good farmland. It was just going to devastate the soil for 30 years.
Ash Creek developers Primergy say they are committed to developing projects that protect the environment and do not pose additional environmental risks. Tonight at 6, a closer look at the farmers' concerns and why the energy company says their products are completely safe. Well, it might be Monday, but Taylor Swift fans have a new reason to shake it off.
All right, now in 3 minutes, what we're learning about her next album drop. You're waking up to Good Morning Texas.
And I'm tracking what's going to be a warm and muggy day here across Central Texas. The latest on those rain chances coming up.
Calling all Swifties, Taylor Swift announcing the release day for her re-recorded version of Speak Now. The new version of her 2010 Grammy-winning third album comes out July 7th. She's been recording new versions of her first 6 albums after her former record label sold the rights to the original recordings against her wishes.
Well, I was trying to think of a lyric to segue into this because I'm really good at that. But that's how you know I'm just not a Taylor Swift fan. I mean, I think she's great, but
not
shake
a fanatic,
it off.
yeah.
I was just going to say shake it off. Let's shake it off. Announce the winner, Josh.
It works. We'll shake it off. We'll get to the winner of this.
Yes.
Hey, today's winner is Mary Jane Douglas. Congratulations, Mary Jane. We'll let you know how you can pick up one of these Good Morning Texas mugs.
If you want one of these too, just go to our website, kxxv.com/contest. Click the mug and give us your email address. We give them away every day. All you got to do is watch to be a winner. We've got a big Swiftie, on our team here.
We have a huge Swiftie fan.
And so,
or Swiftie. Is
that's
that what
right.
they're called?
I think so. We're going to get so
it's
much
not me
heat after
before,
this.
before we think it is.
Josh, you said you were early Taylor Swift
Early
fan.
Taylor Swift, yeah, the good stuff.
When she was still country?
Yeah, when she was still country.
Right.
Although some of her pop stuff's good too,
Sure.
but I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie by any means. Okay. Not that there's anything bad about Swifties. There's not. My sister's one. So
there you go.
There you go.
Well, speaking of shaking off, I'm just going to keep using that one. A lot of shaking off we had to do when we caught some of the rain during the weekend. It sprinkled here and there. It rained a lot on Friday, but we got peaks of sunshine.
Yeah. What's the plan today?
Expect more of the same. Now, I think today will be drier than, say, Friday, but it may be a little wetter than, say, yesterday, because we'll be watching for the chance for a couple of thunderstorms this afternoon. The biggest thing you're going to notice, though, the heat, the humidity that's going to be out there today. You can see out there right now that things are rather quiet. We do have humidity in place, though, upper 60s there in South Waco. We were watching some thunderstorms up towards Bosque, Hamilton County. Those have fallen apart, and I don't expect any through the morning. We could have a couple of spot showers this afternoon, but by and large, I think the biggest activity will be out over West Texas. We'll watch for thunderstorms to blow up there. There is a chance they try to work into some of our western counties this evening. So along and west of I-35, you're going to have the best chance at seeing some thunderstorms here as we go through the day. I don't expect widespread severe weather. Some gusty winds, if we get thunderstorms to build off to the west, will be possible, though. I think our better chance of rain area-wide comes in tomorrow. We're going to have an area of energy lift up over us that should bring the potential for more scattered showers and thunderstorms both tomorrow and also on Wednesday. And the models, they're having a hard time predicting this. So just keep in mind that you need to keep that umbrella handy. While you won't use it each day this week, you will have the potential to use it each day this week. 30% chance of rain today. I've upped it to 40 tomorrow and 50 coming up on Wednesday. We'll see a little bit of a lull Thursday and Friday. More storm chances coming in for the weekend. And yeah, temperature is going to be hanging around the mid-80s with that humidity hanging around as well. So just have the umbrella handy. You might need it.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Much more ahead.
All right, it's now 6:28. We'll be right back.
Connecting Central Texas. This is Good Morning Texas.
It's 6:30. Good morning. I'm Joey Horta. Thanks for waking up with us.
Yeah, and I'm Sharday LeRae. Listen, a very restful weekend on my end. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Tried to hide from the, humidity that was out there.
Sometimes you just can't escape it, though, Josh. It just sticks to you.
Yeah, and the last few days have been really humid here across Central Texas. I think today won't be an exception. You can see out there right now on the Clark Roofing Cam, we do have some of that humidity in place. Fog, not rather thick, but the humidity is. That's why you're seeing that haze, and that's why it's going to be a warm and humid one today. We'll be in the upper 60s as the bus picks up your kiddos. South winds at 10 miles per hour, dropping them off in the upper 80s. I can't rule out a stray thunderstorm this evening. South winds at around 15. So go ahead and grab the short sleeves, the shorts, and go ahead and pack an umbrella as well. You may end up needing it. You may not, but you will likely need it as we go through the rest of the week. I'll walk you through what could be a wet forecast in your 10-day coming up.
I went to the third person who moaned. I knew he was alive. I felt for a pulse. There was no pulse, so I did the first chest compression. He spit up blood, and then his eyes went fixed and dilated, and I knew I'd lost him.
The latest developments now from that mass shooting out of North Texas. Absolute terror erupting at an outlet mall over the weekend. A gunman there opening fire, killing 8 people. The community of Allen, just north of Dallas, coming together to remember the lives lost. And investigators now trying to determine a motive.
And right now, they believe the suspect, Mauricio Garcia, may have held white supremacist beliefs. Now, overnight, police saying 7 people are still in the hospital, including 3 in critical condition. The shooter, Garcia, was killed after an officer on a different call ran toward the gunfire.
To see these first responders act, visibly shaken and crying and sick and trying to catch their breath and trying to understand what was going on, that will always be in my mind.
Police say the gunman was wearing a patch associated with white supremacists. Now, the FBI is also looking into his writings and clothing for other potential links to extremist ideas. Investigators also saying the suspect was discharged from the Army in 2008 due to, quote, mental health concerns. Now, this marks the 199th mass shooting here in the U.S. just this year, and gun reform advocates are planning to rally today at the state capitol. The FBI saying is asking anyone with information or video related to the shooting to contact the agency. In a statement, the Bureau says it's working with Texas DPS along with other state and federal agencies on this investigation.
Governor Greg Abbott says he wants to meet with the community to help the victims' families heal.
Our main priority right now is to help and support those families and the Allen community. But I got to tell you that there are questions that are lingering that the families want answers to. And that is, why did this happen? Why did the gunman do this? How did this happen? And I know that those families need an answer as quickly as possible.
President Joe Biden also responding with a proclamation honoring the victims. He's ordering all flags to be lowered to half staff until Thursday.
And new information overnight about a deadly crash near the U.S.-Mexico border. A vehicle plowed into a crowd of people at a bus stop near a shelter for migrants. And now an 8th victim has died. We're just learning that. And it just comes days before a U.S. border policy, which took effect during the pandemic, expires. Lindsay Watts has more.
This morning, candles and flowers marked the spot where an SUV hit and killed 8 people at a bus stop in Brownsville, Texas, as authorities investigate whether the crash was an accident or intentional.
They were going to the bus station, local bus station, so they could take the bus that was going to take them to their destination.
Some of the victims were migrants who had just left a shelter that helps the homeless and people who cross the border. A witness says the driver was yelling insults before accelerating towards the group.
This SUV just comes through, hits part of the curve and runs over everyone. A lot of our other guests that we have here at the shelter got to witness this traumatic incident.
The driver, identified by police as a Hispanic man, was taken to the hospital for treatment. Authorities are looking into whether alcohol played a factor, describing the man as very uncooperative, charging him with reckless driving.
Well, they're saying that the car lost control. Now, whether we know whether it was an accident or intentional, that is still under investigation.
This all comes as Title 42 expires Thursday. The public health order issued during the pandemic allowed Border Patrol to turn away migrants to prevent the spread of COVID. Now authorities are preparing for a spike in migrant crossing, upwards of 10,000 per day. The Biden administration says it's opened more facilities to process migrants, adding immigration officers and sending 1,500 troops to help boost the response effort.
It's going to take our plan a while to really take hold, for people to understand that they can access lawful, safe, orderly pathways before they reach the border.
Under Title 42, most migrants were deported to Mexico with no legal consequences. But when that policy ends Thursday, they may face stiffer penalties if they cross the border illegally. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
We're also following breaking news out of Dallas this morning, where a gunman is on the loose after a shooting at a light rail station. Now we have learned that one person is dead. According to police, 2 people suffered injuries as well. Now, one was treated at the scene, the other taken to the hospital. The victim's identity has not been released, but police say the shooting happened after a fight broke out, and no details have been released about the suspect. Well, the votes are in for the May 6th general election, and on the ballot in Harker Heights was a topic of an ongoing debate, Proposition A.
This measure decriminalizes small amounts of marijuana. 25 News reporter Nakia Simon live in the newsroom with the outcome. Nakia, good morning.
Good morning, Sade and Joey. The decision was determined by one single vote. The residents of Harker Heights voting against repealing Proposition A. The city's unofficial totals: 1,135 people voted no to repealing Prop A, while 1,134 people voted yes. According to city officials, a vote of no means supporting repealing the repeal of Chapter 133 marijuana enforcement and tossing it back to the city's books. The founder of Veterans for Medical Marijuana giving his take on this.
Based on everything the Harker Heights City Council has done in the past, they will simply ignore the will of the voters in Harker Heights, which I think is deplorable, an awful thing to just ignore the will of the voters.
The city of Harker Heights' stance on Prop A remains the same. In a statement, they referred to us to the Texas Local Government Code, which says city government officials may not adopt a policy under the entity will not fully enforce laws relating to drugs. They continue by saying for those with interest in changing the laws relating to marijuana, the Texas legislature is the appropriate and only forum to see those changes. The final official results of the May 6th elections will be official on May 16th. Reporting in Waco, Nakia Simon, 25 News.
All right, Nakia, thank you. And access to health care for women takes center stage this week. Just ahead from us, the latest debate on the birth control pill, what the FDA could soon decide on, impacting millions of women.
But first, bracing for a surge of migrants at the border. But is Texas ready? The steps being taken before Title 42 expires this week.
Okay, we're going to get a check on the weather again. 6:41 here on this Monday morning.
Yes, and Josh, we got a little bit of a mix. Are we expecting that same mix like we did over the weekend?
Just the mix of the rain and the heat that's hanging around?
All of it. Are we getting all of it?
Yeah, the humidity, the warm temperatures, they'll be around, and we'll throw in chances of rain as well. Although I'm not expecting widespread chances today, don't get used to it. More storm chances are going to be working in here for the middle of the week. Out there right now, you're dry, so no issues, though it is plenty humid, upper 60s out there currently as you look at the Clark Roofing Cam and South Waco. We were watching some thunderstorms earlier this morning back over towards Stephenville, over towards Meridian. Those have fallen apart, so it's a quiet morning. That is the good news. But with the extra humidity, with the heat, I do think we'll be able to bubble up and get a couple of showers and thunderstorms going by the late afternoon and into the evening. Highs will be in the upper 80s, but they could feel like the triple digits when you factor in that humidity. So another warm, another muggy day on the way. Notice Future Track really doesn't show much today. Maybe a few spot showers, that's about it. What we will be monitoring is what happens out over West Texas. If we can get thunderstorms to bubble up near Abilene, there is a chance we can bring those into some of our western counties to where areas along and west of I-35, once again, see the better chance of rain. And while I don't expect these to be severe, if they roll on through, so gusty winds will be possible. Again, it all depends on how it shakes out through the rest of the day. Now, as we get into tomorrow, models have been pretty consistent on bringing this wave of energy up from the south, and that will lead to scattered downpours here as we go through Tuesday and on into Wednesday. So while it won't be a washout both days and won't rain the whole time both days, we will have the potential at passing downpours, some of which could produce heavy rain. That's going to be our best chance here through the week. I do think the rain chances hang around through a good part of the week, and we could bring another round of those downpours on Saturday. By the time it's all said and done, some models want to spit out close to 4 inches of rain for our area. That'll really help with the drought we're dealing with, and it's going to stay warm and muggy too. Temperatures in the mid-80s.
Alrighty, thank you, Josh. Well, concerns swirling around the southern border as communities like El Paso prepare for the end of Title 42 this week.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are worried. They don't believe the country's ready to handle the surge of migrants. John Lawrence has details.
As migrants are gathering at the U.S.-Mexican border, lawmakers from both parties are sounding the alarm.
First of all, are we ready? The answer is no.
President Biden is sending 1,500, quote, soldiers to do paperwork, and that's not going to secure the border.
The rise in people seeking to get into the U.S. comes in anticipation of Thursday's expiration of Title 42, the U.S. government rule that enabled border officers to expeditiously expel migrants during the COVID pandemic.
The Biden administration had 2 years to prepare for this and did not do so.
The Department of Homeland Security has repeatedly stressed the southern border is sealed and is giving fair warning to those trying to come across.
The smugglers who exploit vulnerable migrants are spreading misinformation. They are spreading false information, lies, in a way to lure vulnerable people to the southern border, and those individuals will only be returned.
House Republicans are set to vote Thursday on a border security package to succeed Title 42. It's called H.R. 2, and it codifies some of the programs from the Trump administration, including the Remain in Mexico policy, which says migrants have to stay in Mexico as they go through the asylum process. If it passes, it's not expected to get through the Democratic-led Senate. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Right now, encounters between border agents are up about 7,000 per day, and they're actually expected to go up dramatically.
Well,
okay, we got to explain what happened.
my chair is sinking, but we have a good story for you. If you're on Facebook, the social media app could owe you some cash.
We'll tell you why. We'll get our act together so you don't miss out on some money here when we come back. Welcome back. Facebook is paying hundreds of millions of dollars now to settle privacy violations, and you may be eligible for some of that money.
Yeah, good news. Consumer reporter John Matarese looks at whether it's worth filing a claim and how to do so safely so you don't waste your money.
If you're a Facebook member, even if you haven't posted anything to your page in a year or so, you may qualify for some cash, all because of a class action settlement over how they used your personal information.
Face it, Facebook may have shared your info, according to multiple lawsuits. Courtney Johnson says she's not surprised.
It's not right, but also I think anyone who uses social media has to kind of accept that, nothing is private.
Jeannie Cook says,
I think it was wrong of them to do that.
Earlier this year, Facebook's parent company, Meta, agreed to pay $725 million in a class action privacy lawsuit. Facebook denies any wrongdoing, but the agreement means that eligible Facebook users can file a claim for a chunk of that money. Considering 87 million users were affected, the payout per person may not be much, as little as $6, according to some estimates. But filing a claim may still be worth it.
Because it's found money. I mean, the last time somebody offered me money, I took it.
Danny Karen is the attorney behind the website Your Lovable Lawyer. He says in any class action lawsuit, not filing your claim means someone else gets your share. The money may go to charity, or
it might go back to the defendant, back to the bad guy who took the money from you in the first place because it went unclaimed.
A word of caution, though, before entering personal information, make sure you submit a claim through the official claim form and check for important case information.
The court number, the phone number of the lawyers, the names of the lawyers.
To claim money under the Facebook settlement, you had to use Facebook between May 24th, 2007 and December 22nd, 2022. The deadline is August 25th. Crystal Reynolds is going to apply just on principle.
I think that's bad. That's terrible.
And that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
Right now, investigators searching for answers after a gunman opens fire at a mall near Dallas.
What we're learning about that suspect just ahead.
And I'm tracking another warm and muggy day across central Texas. You'll need the umbrella too. I'll walk you through the forecast coming up.
All right, everything's safe and sound. We got the chair fixed.
I feel like, Josh, it's the humidity seeping into here, making the chairs
That's
sink.
it. Yeah.
It wouldn't
that
surprise
has to
me.
be what it is.
It wouldn't surprise me. There's days we walk in and it feels a little humid just from the humidity being so high outside. Today may be one of those days. You're looking outside the Clark Roofing Cam in South Waco. You can see the humidity. We have temperatures in the 60s and in the 70s out there to start your Monday. We'll be in the mid 80s by lunchtime, upper 80s and lower 90s this afternoon. When you factor in that humidity, it'll feel like the triple digits, and we'll be watching for some evening thunderstorms. And keep in mind, this is still about 5 degrees above normal, so we continue with this warmer than normal pattern, with most of us reaching the upper 80s. I am tracking better rain chances on the way, along with more warm and muggy conditions. 10-day forecasts, that's coming up.
Developing news this morning, 8 people are dead after Brownsville police say a driver plowed through a crowd outside of a homeless shelter. Police saying the man was driving reckless when he drove through the crowd. At least 9 other people are hurt, and authorities believe many of the victims are migrants.
The Oznan Center is a homeless shelter, and right now they have a lot of immigrants from the current influx that we're having, that they're putting them there to have shelter for overnight, waiting for their final destination, so they will go on the bus or on the plane. That's usually where a lot of them have been staying.
Border Patrol agents are now helping with this investigation. Police say witnesses detained the driver until officers arrived on scene. He's now facing a number of charges.
And now to the battle for land between farmers and solar companies that's unfolding here in Central Texas. An important vote is happening tomorrow in Hill County. County commissioners will decide whether to rezone hundreds of acres for the Ash Creek Solar Project. If approved, this project could bring renewable energy to 90,000 homes. But many farmers say that would ruin precious farmland.
Not against solar energy, but it has its place. To take up hundreds of acres of very good farmland is just going to devastate the soil for 30 years.
Ash Creek developers Primergy say they're committed to developing projects that protect the environment and do not pose additional environmental risks. Tonight at 6, a closer look at the farmers' concerns and why the energy company says their products are completely safe. 6:54 now, and these are the top stories we're following.
Investigators are trying to figure out a motive for a deadly shooting at a North Texas outlet mall. 8 people died in that shooting, and police believe he might have been motivated by extremist beliefs. Investigators say he was wearing white supremacy gear during the attack. Now, he also frequently posted racist material to social media. And today marks day 16 in the capital murder trial of Cedric Marks. The former MMA fighter is accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and her friend. Now, on Friday, the judge ruled a DPS report finalized and filed on Friday would not be admitted into evidence. Testimony continues at 9 this morning.
Voters in Harker Heights voting not to repeal Proposition A. This measure decriminalizes small amounts of marijuana. The effort to repeal it failed by just 1 vote. And the city says the ordinance goes against state law, and the only thing the state legislature can change are the laws governing drug enforcement. All right, we're going to get back to the forecast before we let you go this morning.
Stepping out, we need to grab that umbrella, Josh.
Yeah, you might want to have it handy. While you won't need it all day, and there is a chance you don't use it, you better have it instead of just not having it, because it's not fun when it rains on you. You don't have an umbrella. Temperatures the upper 60s out there right now. You can see the humidity. We have temperatures that feel like they're in the 70s in Centerville, 66 now in Goldthwaite, 74 in Bryan College Station. And we were watching some thunderstorms earlier, but those have weakened, and I don't expect any as we go through the morning. Could have a couple of spot showers here through the afternoon, but our better chance of storm sets up with whatever happens off to the west this evening. If that can get going, there is a chance it rolls into some of our western counties along and west of I-35. I don't expect severe weather, but some gusty winds possible. Our better rain chances arrive tomorrow as we get a little disturbance sweeping up from the south that should lead to scattered downpours both tomorrow and also on Wednesday. So while it won't rain all day any of the days of the next 10, we will have the daily chance around. So have the umbrella handy, and the warm and muggy air not going anywhere. Mid-80s through the week.
Not the best hair day.
Not really.
All right. GMA's up next.
And make sure you stay up this Monday morning. Have a good one.